Good day, everyone. This is Coach Reese coming at you with another great video. I'm hoping all is well with you and your family and that you're enjoying your day. The title of today's video is My Dogs Have No Fleas. My Dogs Have No Fleas. And this video is very important, young people, because some of you all do not know how to conduct yourself when you are faced with an issue or concern. And the sole purpose of this video is to help you young people, teach you young people how to conduct yourself when you are faced with an issue or concern, and that's why I feel that this video is very important. I have a couple of points before I get started with my letter today. I'm going back to the old school way of doing it, at least for the day of reading the letter. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with my 3 points that I wanted to talk about before I read my letter. My first point is this: use your mind and heart to solve problems. Use your mind and heart to solve problems. And so what I mean by that, young people, is that, if you are faced with an issue or concern, for example, if you feel that, Walmart is treating you unfairly, because you're a African American or brown person, then you have a voice. I'm not telling you or giving you permission to go to the local Walmart and start a physical fight with someone in the store, an employee or whatever, because you have a disagreement. What you do is you voice your opinion in a nonviolent way, be it on social media or what have you. And you also, spread the word about your issue of concern to other, African American and brown people. And you'll be surprised, you may find out that quite a few people have the same opinion than you do, that you do. And so, you guys can organize a boycott against Walmart or what have you, and to prove a point. What I'm trying to say is this: in this particular instance, when it comes down to money, young people, businesses will listen to you, especially if you're talking about thousands of dollars that they're losing because of issue of concern that you all have as a group. you know, um, even if you're the only one that has the disagreement, young people, you can get on social media and voice your concerns, and your opinion may be amplified because thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people may look at your video and they be like, wow, I didn't realize, Walmart or whoever was um, treating black and brown people like that. That's just an example that I can, tell you about, to give you an idea of how to conduct yourself when it comes to issues of, when you have issues of concern or what have you. Young people, you have a right to get up and do something, right? Nothing can be resolved. Nothing can be resolved if you sit around and complain about something. Complaining about something will get nothing solved. The only way that you can get something solved, for example, if you think it's unfair that the library in your county is closing, you have a right to call your local politician, you know, uh, because they are public servants. You voted for them, you know, and you have a right to call them and address your concerns. You know, you do also have a right to talk to people in your neighborhood, you know, about your issue or concern. You can talk to your pastor about the issue or concern. Maybe he or she will make an announcement in the church about certain issues that are going on in the community. So I'm just letting you know, young people, that um, everybody can do something. You know, you don't have to be a very famous, powerful person to make a difference. You know, like I said, young people, at the end of the day, when it comes down to money and a business, they want your money. And if they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, I assure you, they will listen to you and address the concern immediately. Why? Because that particular business wants to make money. Okay. You know, I just had a thought just now about one of my heroes, Michael Jordan. I remember as a young man, I used to love to watch Michael Jordan play basketball and fly through the air. Um, you know, he looked like a human airplane. I'm very serious. I encourage you, young people, to look at Michael Jordan's footage of the different dunks that he made back in the day and the way he just glided across the court. He was like a human airplane or something. But what I'm trying to say is Michael Jordan is still making money off of his sneakers. You know, I remember when Air Jordans came out when I was a young man, and I thought that that would be a phase, you know. So, in other words, I thought as long as Michael Jordan was playing, of course, I knew the Jordans would sell, but I had no idea that his Jordans was still a hot commodity, if you will, well after his retirement, you know, and I think that's awesome. And so, what I'm trying to say, young people, is money is power. When you refuse to buy Jordans or what have you, those big, powerful institutions will listen, especially when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, you can do something. I just want you to remember that. The last point I want to make is this: never accept no if you know something is right. Never accept no if you know something is right. Like, I give you an example. There may be politicians, you know, trying to close a school in your county or district or whatever. And if you feel that that is wrong, you have a right to voice your opinions, again, to your politicians and other folks that are in power that make those decisions to close and open schools. Okay? So don't ever think that your voice is irrelevant. You know, if you know something is right, you have a right. If you know, if you never, like I say, never accept no if you know something is right. You know, like if you have a hospital in your district or county that's about to close and you know that that hospital is a very important institution in your county, you have a right to voice your opinion, okay? And make your voice heard, and don't be afraid to do that, young people. Okay, young people, I'm about to start my letter. Like I say, the title of today's letter is My Dogs Have No Fleas. My dogs have no fleas. I remember my grandparents had two dogs. They loved their dogs a lot, and they took very good care of them. The dogs lived outside, which was cool with me because I am not really a dog person. The dogs were great protectors of the house. I remember them barking at anyone that came close to the house. My grandparents had a driveway with a fenced in backyard. I remember going places with my grandparents, and as we returned home and pulled in the driveway, I remember seeing them run up to the gate and greet us. The dogs were very friendly and loving towards us. As friendly as those dogs were towards us, they could become very mean and bark at strangers that came close to the gate. Young people, the same way that my grandparents' dogs were friendly and loving towards the family, I want you all to be the same towards your family and friends. Be very loving and caring towards them. As I stated earlier, my grandparents' dogs were great protectors, and they would bark at anyone that they deemed a threat. Like my grandparents' dogs had that mean protective bark towards strangers, I want you young people to have that same bark, but on a spiritual level. Your spirit cannot be heard. Your spirit cannot be heard by anyone else, only you and Almighty God if you're a believer. If your spirit is angry about something, family and friends treating you unfairly, or someone you know may have experienced injustice, utilize that spiritual anger and transform it into something positive. I'm not saying to go out and engage in a physical fight with someone. I am saying use your spirit and mind for the good of others and yourself. Organize protests, boycott a business that is treating you unfairly. Go to social media and voice your concern. Organize a nonviolent march in your community. Young people, speak up and speak out when you see an issue or concern. Always address problems head on in a nonviolent way. Young people, you have to have the dog in you. Some young people, you have to have the dog in you. Some of our ancestors were forced to wear neck shackles, arm shackles, and ankle shackles in transit from Africa to abroad, and once they arrived to their destinations, they were beaten and forced to work. Through that pain and suffering, blues music was born, gospel music was born, some forms of dance were born. Quilting was born from slavery, and other amazing art forms were born during slavery as well. Young people, your DNA bloodline is filled with fighters, slaves who resisted the master, intelligent slaves who devised plans to freedom. Your voice is powerful, young people. Do not ever forget that. You are somebody because you come from well-capable, able bodies. African soldier, stand firm and press on. Okay, young people, that concludes my video. That concludes my letter for today. In all my letters, I touch on 3 points on wisdom. I touch on the point of critical thinking. And then I end my video with the ending statement of practice. And I'm going to go ahead and start on my 3 points on wisdom. Young people, point number 1, wise people are good listeners. Point number 2, wise people have the thirst or desire to learn good knowledge and spiritual knowledge. Young people, point number 2 is very important. Point number 3, wise people have the courage to teach their wisdom. So young people, I encourage you all to do your research on wisdom. And I pray that you all will pursue wisdom with the utmost seriousness. Young people, if you pursue wisdom with the utmost seriousness, it will benefit you in the long run. I have a statement dealing with critical thinking, and it goes like this. Always be a critical thinker, young people, especially when making big decisions. Always be a critical thinker, young people, especially when making big decisions. So young people, I encourage you all to do your research on the topic of critical thinking. And I pray that you all will pursue critical thinking with the utmost seriousness. Young people, if the sooner you become a critical thinker, the better off you'll be, and it'll benefit you in the long run. I have an ending statement of practice, and it goes like this. I love you. I want the best for you. I want you to practice using love and wisdom in all that you do. Life is a game that you must learn how to play. Practicing love and wisdom with your family, friends, and loved ones creates a powerful team. Love conquers all, young people, even if you feel defeated. So, young people, I encourage you to keep loving and keep growing and gaining in wisdom, and God will bless you in a mighty way. I encourage you all to hit the thumbs up on this video. I encourage you all to share this video with family, friends, and loved ones. And I encourage you all to subscribe to my channel. At the end of the day, young people, I want you to accomplish all your goals and dreams in life. And I want you to be the best person that you can be every single day of your life. That is very important. I have one more nugget of wisdom before I officially conclude this video. Don't ever think that you're better than anyone else, young people, but rather, young people, think of yourself as just as good as anyone else. Humility is a vital key to a successful life. I pray that you all will apply that nugget of wisdom to your life, and it will benefit you in the long run. I'm going to go ahead and officially conclude this video by saying this. May God bless you, and may God keep you until we meet again.